When you first see the islands of the Galapagos, you're struck with how barren they look, especially around the shoreline. But as you get closer, you start to see an amazing variety of wildlife. Thousands of birds populate every little space they can. We can see their nests in crevices and on top of the rocks, and all the good ledges are totally crowded.
And right at the water's edge, the marine iguana, the only seagoing lizard in the world, a real legend of the Galapagos. These amazing creatures evolved on these islands and are found nowhere else in the entire world.
Wow, they're incredible. They have specially adapted claws to grip the rocks even though the surges come right over the top and wash back down. They grip and they've got serrated teeth to tear away the algae. Completely hit by the wave. If that was me, I'd get pulled off and my arms would get ripped by the barnacle. Marine iguanas can cling like this for hours on end. The only time they move is to find a more comfortable temperature or when they dive for a feed. One thing's for sure, they don't budge an inch unless they want to.
These cliff faces are perfect homes for the blue-footed boobies. Now, they're funny birds. They absolutely crack me up. During the mating season, they chirp and honk and sky point and spread their wings. But the funniest thing ever is they take their big, beautiful blue feet and they show them to each other. Look how pretty my feet are. And that's all part of the mating ritual.
18 other species of seabirds also populate the islands, some of them in incredible numbers. It's estimated that around 750,000 seabirds make their homes on this rugged coastline.
It's also the perfect home for marine mammals like fur seals and the magnificent sea lion.
There's 2 species of sea lions here on the Galapagos. Now, every day's a good day when you're a sea lion. They love to swim and play and catch fish, but what's unique about them is that they are actually able to use their flippers for climbing. They can climb way up on the rocks in order to bask in the sun.
Wow, no effort at all. These are the fur seals, much smaller and cute. They've got the big eyes. They're quite acrobatic. They can climb up these sheer rock walls with ease, no problem at all. You're a good boy. They get a little bit grumpy. Just a plethora of wildlife. We've got the Sally Whitefoot crab, the sea lion pup, and of course, the famous, legendary marine iguanas of the Galapagos. Nice day.
I find it amazing how all this wildlife lives peacefully at such close quarters, probably because none of these guys actually eat each other. And because they're so used to living in harmony with every other creature, they seem to accept humans as just another species that wanders through the scene.
I'm not your mother.
Isn't he beautiful? This is actually a bachelor sea lion. He's a male on his own and he's fighting for territory and for girls. He argues with other males by first head-butting a bit, and then they actually puncture each other's necks sometimes with their teeth. You can see the scarring on his neck from other battles. He's just taking a little bit of a break now and recovering from a few arguments.
Take a look at this little Galapagos finch, right at home on a spiny cactus. We were surprised to see how far the seals and sea lions move away from the shore. In most other places, they would stick right to the water's edge to avoid any land-based predators. But here in the Galapagos, there's nothing to fear anywhere on the island. We find them in some of the most unexpected places, including a mother feeding her pup.
Aren't they cute?
There are so many different species that are unique to these islands. They include 7 different lava lizards, all of them noticeably different and all of them adapted to local conditions. Even in a single species, the markings vary according to the habitat. They've all evolved the colors that give them the best camouflage. It was the local variations of these lizards and many other animal species in the Galapagos that gave Charles Darwin the first clues for his scientific theory of evolution. Most of the lava lizards are quite small, but there can be a lot of fight and aggression in those tiny bodies.
Now, they're omnivores, so they not only eat insects, but like that little male, he's eating all kinds of vegetation, little flowers. And the females, interestingly enough, are fighting for his affections. It's the girls that duke it out over the males when it's breeding season.
Both males and females are territorial. They do those little push-ups to claim ownership, and they'll fight like crazy to get a bloke. Of the thousands of lizard species throughout the world, iguanas would certainly be one of my favourites. And one of the best lizards I've ever seen in my entire life is these land iguanas. Only found on the Galapagos. They're endemic to these islands, and we've got a beautiful view here. The big, buffy, yellow, light-coloured male, and right behind him, that's his girl. She's gorgeous, much finer features, a little bit fat in the tummy, beautiful. Hasn't got that buffy light head, but gorgeous nonetheless.
They look sort of like a creature you shouldn't go anywhere near, but the Galapagos iguanas are amazingly tolerant of people. Like all the animals of the Galapagos, it's strictly hands-off. No one's allowed to even touch them. The biggest of these magnificent lizards grow to more than 3 feet long and can weigh as much as 28 pounds.
They're basically herbivorous, feeding on the sedges and the grasses, but they've also been known to chew on a dead seal or dead birds.
Their mouths must be incredibly tough, as they'll happily swallow cactus fruits and pads without removing the spines. They'd hardly notice a few rough edges on the insects that are also part of their diet. There aren't many insect species on the Galapagos, but this one, the painted locust, is plentiful. And because they stand out so well, they make easy prey for the lizards.
Of course, where there's life, there's death. This is a dead seal pup or sea lion pup, and it all goes back into the food chain.
A great thing about such docile creatures is that it's extremely easy to study them at really close range. They just sit there and let you move right around them. Like all reptiles, they shed their skin as they grow in size. All that bumpy skin armor makes them look like tough little brutes, but they really are the pussycats of the reptile world, probably one of the gentlest lizards I've ever seen. Like all the reptiles of the Galapagos, the land iguanas are devoted sunbathers. The only way they can regulate their body temperature is by changing environments. When they need to warm up, they sit in the sun. If it's too hot, they'll find shade, and on cold nights, they huddle together to share their body heat. They can live as long as 60 years, and this big male looks like he's well on the way to collecting the old age pension.